Terror Troopers. I just woke up from the first nap I've taken in like a year. Like, I don't even know how I did it, y'all. But let's talk about the Valley. Y'all seem to like it when I reviewed it in my car, so now I'm just going to do it on my phone, in my living room. See? Proof of nap. The bed's a mess. I know it. So this episode of The Valley was like mainly just about Nia and Danny and how everyone thinks he has an alcohol problem. They literally think he's an alcoholic. And so we all know on the trip in the house, they blew up being like, Nia, you don't share like your life. Why didn't you just say he's drunk, right? And she plays it like her life is perfect. So skip to, there's all this commotion happening in the house, like the fighting. Danny wakes up and hears it, walks in and is like, what's going on? Is everything okay? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. Like, they won't tell him. And he's like, does it have to do with me? And like, Nia's like, yes, just go to the room. I'll talk to you. And they end up, like, whatever, basically just chatting. And then, she says, hey, look, did you go in the closet and close the door and drink like the tequila? And he was like, yeah, but why are we even? And she's like, just admit it that you drank too much, whatever. And he's like, yeah, okay. Like, I had the tequila, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, look, here's the thing. Everyone has seen the dark side of Danny, which was Halloween. He drinks too much. When he drinks, he goes too far. We get it. We've all had friends like that. This night, he didn't go too far. He just went to the winery. He was catching up. Yes, when you go to the closet and you take swigs out of tequila and you're hiding it, it could be like, does he have a problem? Is he trying to hide it? But my assumption is, because we've never heard about him doing this like every single day, is that, you know, and what he said in the after show is he'll take months off of drinking at a time, right? If Nia has a problem with it. But like them at the house, there wasn't a problem that arose because he just went to bed. Like, he took swigs of tequila and went to bed. And I'm like, okay, maybe he was just over it. He needed sleep. He's tired. When he drinks, he wants to drink more. But it doesn't seem, except for the Halloween issue. If the Halloween issue happens again, right, multiple times, how he's effing up and he's doing really inappropriate things all of the time, then I would understand, like, this big old thing about it. Anyhow, Brittany feels bad about the way it was handled, and so they have a girls' dinner, right, to talk to Nia. Brittany goes, I'm really sorry. I just want to have this dinner. And by the way, at the dinner, there's a guy named Gino who's a chef, and it's the same Gino, swear to God, that I've been in like 2 to 3 films with. He was an actor, not like hardcore. I've been in like short films with him. He wasn't in any of the features that I was in. But anyway, and he's a private chef now. And I was like, is that him? And I was like, oh my God, he's like legitimately chefing. Okay, cool. He is a chef now. Anyhow, I just thought that was funny. I should reach out to him and be like, hey, I saw you on The Valley. But I just woke up from a nap, and we all know I'm tired, so that's not going to happen. Oh my God, you guys, I'm really sorry. I know this is like, I'm taking a pause, but I'm surprised that my mascara has not flaked all over my face after napping. Good job, mascara. Okay, moving on. Now listen, they're at the table, they confront Nia, they're like, hey, we're sorry, we didn't mean for it to blow up, became bigger than it is. And she's like, it's fine, you know, it's just like, She kind of gets a little tearful. She starts talking about, Janet goes, you know, I have dated someone in my past who had drugs and alcohol problems, and like, it was really tough. And she claps back so hard. She's like, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about that. Like, he doesn't have a drug and alcohol problem. Like, it was a little harsh, like, coming from Nia. I think she could have maybe just, like, heard Janet out. But let's cut to Immediately after they apologize, in the beginning of this dinner, Nia's getting tearful. And then she cries and tells this random, it's a very heartfelt story. It's about how she was homeless. She lived in cars with her mom. They used to pitch tents in people's backyard. It was really tough for her growing up, right? They had a hard life. And she's like crying. And I'm like, in the after show, they're like, do you think that she came prepped with this story so that she could get the story off Danny and onto her and get sympathy and then people would just forget? And I'm sort of like, I don't think so. I don't think Nia's like that. But then at the same time, I'm like, yeah, maybe. Because it was so, basically the way that she prefaced it was like, I just want to let you guys know, like, there's something you don't know about me. And, and that's why I present my life this way. That's why I turned out the way that I am. Like, basically trying to say, like, that's why maybe she makes things look perfect because she had a really hard life before. And now, she's very grateful for what she has now, yada, yada, yada. I sort of was like, you having a tough life, right? Get it. I liked hearing the story. It was very heartfelt. The tears were genuine. But that doesn't have anything to do, look at my cat. That doesn't have anything to do with Danny and his alcohol problem, right? It's sort of like, let me just twist this narrative. In a way, I felt like it was weird. A little bit weird. Because as soon as she started talking and be like, me and my mom, I was homeless growing up. And I was like, okay, all right. Yeah, this is sad, but what does this have to do with what they're concerned about Danny having an alcohol problem? Like, I was a little confused. And then when Janet, she's crying, she gets over crying, and Janet listens to Nia's entire story. And then that's when Janet goes, I dated someone who had an alcohol and drug problem, and like Nia sort of loses it and gets mad, doesn't even let her finish. And I'm like, you're coming off a little too defensive right now. But at the same time, I felt bad for her because like she'd just been crying about how bad her life is. So like you can't say anything to her right now. If you were at that table, you wouldn't be like, hey, you're coming in a little too hot at Janet. And like Janet's not calling him like necessarily an alcoholic or saying he has major issues. They're just saying they're concerned because they have seen Danny drink too much before. But like after she was just like sobbing at the table, no one could really say anything after that. Cause like, and I was like, oh God, was that her plan? Like, was her plan to be like, they're going to feel bad and then we're not going to be talking about Danny. And then they show, here's the thing, which I really liked. They show the receipts during the after show about how they go, we realize that when Danny's drinking too much, you always pull him out of the situation, meaning you're protecting him. And that was the girls' and everyone's argument. You're always protecting Danny. Then they show all these receipts of like Danny drinking too much and her making up an excuse. Like it's her behind being like, oh, our Uber's here. And like, she's literally calling it right now. And then she says it again because he's still talking and he's still like drunk. And she's like, hey, we have to go outside. Our car's here. She does that a lot. Like if he goes a little too far, I highly doubt the car is there, but she'll go, hey, we actually have to go. Our babysitter just called. And like in those receipts that they're showing in the after show, I'm like, the babysitter isn't calling. Nia is just trying to protect him so he doesn't look like a total idiot on camera. And that's what she kind of explained. She's like, listen, we're in a marriage. We protect each other, right? She's like, if he's going to drink too much, then I pull him out. If I probably drink too much, he'd protect me, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, she's protecting him. But I think, like, I don't know how to think about it. Because when you're in a reality show, the whole point is that they kind of want to see people live their real lives. They drink. And some of them drink too much and they're still on screen, right? Like all the time. That's reality television. And I get how it can be if they're the ones that are always leaving so that nobody sees anything bad, how that seems a little off from the rest of everyone else. Because everyone else would be like, gulpy, gulpy, gulpy. Let's walk around. And sure, the camera's still here. We don't care. You know what I mean? So mainly that's what this was about. And Danny in the after show was just laughing and he's like, he's like, listen, I don't have a problem. If she asks me to stop drinking, I'll stop for months at a time. And then he's like, and then I'll pick it back up and go to happy hours or have a drink with friends. And he's like, to him, he's like, I don't have a problem. But also, Nia was explaining that after the Halloween thing, which I didn't know, they have like put in the work. Meaning they both went to individual therapy and they went to a marriage counselor and they went to another therapy. I think it was like 4. And I was like, oh, damn, okay, they've really been working. You know, because like her whole point was like, we've really worked on our marriage a lot. And especially after the Halloween thing, she was like, I went to therapy, he went to therapy, we went to marriage and counseling, couples therapy. So, you know, obviously the Halloween thing did some damage on their relationship because of his drinking, which does pose a problem of like, maybe the drinking is a bigger issue. But unless we see it again in this season or we hear about it again, although I don't think Nia would let it get that far. I think she would like legit watch him drink 4 drinks and be like, we have to go because he's on his 4th drink. But she wouldn't say because he's on his 4th drink out loud. She'd just be like, we have to go. Right? So that he's not seen doing what he, I guess, would maybe normally do when he drinks. Because all of his friends seem to think that when he drinks, he goes too far. Like he doesn't know how to control it. And the only evidence that we have right now of this season, last season, yes, Halloween was a disaster. This season is that you're going in a closet, hiding behind a door and taking shots of tequila. Why don't you want people to see? Why don't you want your wife to see? Is it because you're like, they probably already realized I drank too much, like I don't need more? Who knows? Danny didn't seem to have like a problem with it, and Nia's like, if I don't have a problem with it, why do they? Right? And I was like, yeah, you have a point. You have a point. If your marriage is fine and you're fine with it and you guys have discussed it. She was basically just saying, listen, we take care of this stuff in private, not on the screen. And the thing about reality shows, especially about like The Valley and just all reality shows, is that you take care of even the really hard stuff on camera. That's what they want. And then Danny goes, what? You don't think we haven't shared our life? She talked all about postpartum. And then I talked about how hard it was having a kid on camera, you know, last season. He was crying and being like, it's just babies and the wife all day and it's hard. And she was crying about postpartum and stuff like that. So she was open and honest. But I'm like, yeah, but what you're talking about, the outcome of what happened after Halloween, of you discussing, you need to go to therapy, I need to go to therapy, we need to go to couples therapy, and you discussing why and how you're working through your marriage, I assume would actually help a lot of people. Like, and I'm not just thinking make it a better reality show, add like the drama to it. It's just like, no, you're contracted to like share your life. And if you can share that part, meaning you going to therapy, how you effed up, what you're going to do to change, how we're trying to save our marriage, that would help a lot of people who are in relationships or in a marriage and it's not going well, or help other people who are like, yeah, when I drink too much and like my wife has a problem with it. So what do you guys do? Right? So I don't know. I don't know why, I don't know what I think necessarily about Danny. I think that he probably can control it and clock it to go, I'm probably going to slip and slide here, so we should probably go. But only time will tell, right? If we see him go out again and drink, and if the cameras are there, does he always go too far, or can he control it? That's the question. That is the question. But the biggest thing was that, honestly, Janet, Michelle, and Sheena wasn't at that dinner, but Janet and Michelle both think that Nia came prepared with this story. Oh, and Brittany also said it kind of felt like it was rehearsed, meaning Nia crying about her mom and her childhood and how she was homeless was rehearsed so that she could pull the story away from Danny and onto her. And my question for you is that also what you think? Do you think that Nia came, like, did she prepare this story and then came and was like, I'm going to share this and hopefully it'll turn the tables away from Danny? I need to know what you think, because right now I'm like, I kind of think that. but it was also very genuine, you know. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I love you guys. Make sure you leave a like, leave a comment. Let's get those views up. Help a girl out. Go to my Patreon. Pledge some moolah. You get uncut reactions from me to you. You can sync up with your own copy of like all the Love Islands that I'm watching, Traitors, stuff like that. And instead of the cut reactions that are on YouTube, you can get a full uncut reaction from me to you for those shows. Or you could just support because you like this, what I'm doing when I do it. The reason I'm doing more of the podcast stuff where it's not edited and there's not footage in it is because I can't afford to have the editors edit every video. Like it's already right now with the videos that I do put out, which are edited, it's already like a break in the bank a little bit. So that's why I'm doing this podcast form where it's like I just talk on camera and then drop the video, right? Just talk about the show and do it. But I will be watching Love Island, the new season, because y'all love Love Island on this channel. I know it. But this is going to be the first Love Island where I'm actually like on top of it, because I know it comes out June 3rd. So I'm going to try to watch it on June 3rd or the 4th, get it edited, and then like drop it really quickly. So you better get on that Patreon if you want access to that juice, because we're doing it. Okay. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one.